I don't really have a cold open, but let's see. Let's see what comes out of my dick.
Ugh.
Well, I mean, my brain.
Oh.
Yeah, I just kind of have sayings.
Equally disgusting.
Yeah, exactly.
In a different way.
I have all my little sayings and screams and
shrieks.
And shrieks. They don't make sense. You know, I think that the reason that me and a lot of other people say things like, we'll see what comes out of my dick. I think it's because, the real phrase I was going to say is see what comes out of my mouth.
Right.
Right?
Yep.
But it's so like, everyone knows. As soon as you say, I don't know what to say, we'll see what comes out. And you're already like, you know what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
So you want to have a little variation in there.
Well, why does it have to be penile?
Why does it have to be penile? That's what the name of the podcast should be.
Yes. Not the episode, the podcast.
Yeah. Why does it have to be penile? What comes out of my dick, my ass, whatever you want.
I feel like
my nutsack.
It's Mark and Joe haunting you.
Mark and Norman and Joe List.
Yeah, from Tuesdays with Stories. Each of them have one hand inside you.
I know.
And they're puppeting you to say things like that.
Yeah, the influence is tough to shake sometimes.
It really is.
It really is tough. But let's see what comes out of my dick. Yeah, that's that kind of thing. I like it. I enjoy having a little twist on what I'm saying at the end. You're a little surprised.
I feel like at one point I said, it feels like after a relationship didn't work. And I said, it feels like I got kicked in the crotch of my heart.
Oh, that's cute.
Right.
That's fun.
And I think I wrote it down and somebody I had written to was like, that really caught me off guard.
Yeah.
Like, I love that phrase.
I think that's good.
I'm like, please don't use it. It was not a great phrase.
I'll say too, I think, Brad's been eating these, he's been obsessively eating these Cinnamon Toast Crunch Muddy Buddies. I think the cinnamon sugar might be all over your shirt, like around your shoulders. Yeah. Wow. You must have been going to town on those things.
I was wearing it like a feed bag.
Your arms are flailing. I like that.
Yeah.
Now that's a fun image.
I like dessert.
Yeah, you sure do.
Yeah.
You're a dessert guy.
I am.
Yeah.
I struggle with it. Like with any oh my gosh, calories and weight and all that stuff.
Fuck yeah, dude.
And I some days I wake up and I'm like, I don't care. Like, I don't need to live with society's standards and blah, blah, blah. But other days I wake up and I'm like, I have no value as a human being because of the way my body is shaped.
Wow. That's I get into those. Last night, not to let people in too much. Last night I was like, okay, what did I eat? And I think during the day I had overnight oats.
Gross.
A small protein bar.
Yep.
Kind bar. Not even protein, just like a nut bar.
Yep.
Went to my parents' house, feeling a little weird.
Yep.
I was hanging out with my mom because it's her birthday this week, and I wanted to spend some time with her. She's feeling a little sick, whatever. But I was feeling weird. I drank a bunch of water, and I was doing okay. And for some reason, being at my parents' and knowing that I didn't eat that much earlier, I feel like I have carte blanche to eat whatever the fuck I want.
It's true. And they have Oreos on hand at all times.
My dad loves mega stuffed Oreos, and they're so good. I love Oreos. I never buy Oreos. I never have them in any of my houses. Yeah. And even Brad and I, when we went to Warped Tour with Natalie, we saw these Oreos. What kind were they?
There was Selena Gomez, maybe?
I don't know. But what were they? What was in them?
Cinnamon cream?
Cinnamon sugar cream or something like that. And I was like, we're going to buy these. And you remember what I told Natalie?
Hide them from me.
I said, I can have 2 every 4 hours.
Yes.
If I request them.
Yes.
Hide them otherwise. I think I only had like 6 over the weekend.
Yeah.
So that's not bad. And then we were left. I said, Brad, you're taking these home.
I had a 4-hour drive home. I ate 2 and then 2 more and then 2 more.
Wow. That's your breaking the rules.
Yeah.
But that's how I am. And so when I get to my parents' house, especially if I haven't eaten that much earlier, I'm like,
yeah,
my parents, it doesn't count.
Yeah, it's true.
Oreos. It's funny too, because we're so boring and old. It's like, I don't even eat like Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Right.
They have a cereal by Quaker Oats called like Purely Granola. And I made like a very small actual like serving of it. And I'm like, I am pigging out.
Yep.
It's a Thanksgiving feast. It's fucking raisins and almonds. But then my dad got some ice cream. You know, we were going nuts, man.
I had air fryer tacos last night, and you're like, oh, did you make them? I'm like, nope. I bought them frozen. I cooked them in the air fryer. They weren't great.
The whole taco?
The beef birria ones, thumbs up. Chicken and cheese, thumbs in the middle.
So what's going on there? You're getting a whole taco shell, and
You're getting a whole taco shell.
Everything is frozen?
Yeah, well, there's nothing really in it. It's chicken and cheese.
Oh.
Yeah, and so it's not like there's lettuce and
tomatoes and
salsa and stuff. So really a perfect taco for Brad.
Yeah.
Just the birria one's flavor hits me a little bit better.
Yeah, I don't like the whole... I don't know. I just lose my control sometimes.
Yeah.
I take my gummies at night to go to sleep.
And then, yeah.
I was talking to Natalie about it because... So I take my gummies, THC gummies. I don't take that much. I take 12.5 milligrams of THC. And I'm like, all right, I'm feeling sleepy. I'm feeling relaxed. Let me just go turn off the lights in the kitchen. Then I'm like, cupboard, eh? Refrigerator, eh? And like I do all these tricks and try to steal food from Natalie. Like she makes her own overnight oats.
Yep.
So what I would do is this. You ready? I would take a spoon.
Yep.
I love overnight oats. You went on the overnight oat fad?
No, I'm not.
Oh my God.
I wouldn't even have single day oats. Give me the instant or nothing else.
What the hell? You're looking at your watch. So I would take her overnight oats and she measures things out like calorically.
Yep.
And I would take a spoon, right? And I'd skim the top. right?
Yep.
And I'm skimming the top and making my own bowl. I go to all of them and I skim the top on all of them. Then I take a spoon and I smash it down so it looks like it was even.
Yep.
Then I take a paper towel and I wipe the rim to make it seem like I haven't taken any out.
That's a lot of work.
Right?
Just eat one of the bowls.
No, are you crazy?
Well, you're stealing the same amount of food from her. Natalie, why are you passing out at work so much? I don't know. I've calculated my calories down to the individual unit. As long as I'm eating everything I put aside for myself, I should be perfectly healthy.
Plus, I was making my my jizz your dick roll-ups.
Yep.
That you were calling
spring
them,
rolls.
Spring rolls.
Yes.
You were calling them junkyard dog.
Yes, I was. JYD. Yep.
So I was making the jizz your dick spring rolls, which is just you take the tortilla, you put a butter on it. And then you put cinnamon sugar, you put it in the microwave, you heat up the butter, you put more, and then it's like a cinnamon roll almost. Yes. I was doing that, making all these insane concoctions at 2 a.m.
Yeah, while zooted on, I've used zooted in 2 episodes in a row. I apologize.
They're probably coming out far away.
Yeah, who knows.
So, and then the other day I came clean with her.
Yep.
And I go, listen, I sat her down. I said, Natalie, we're gonna have a talk. She's like, what? I said, sometimes I take my edibles and I get a snack attack and I eat a lot of food in the kitchen at night. And she goes, oh yeah, I know. And I'm like, why? She goes, it looks like a fucking raccoon went through here. And I was like, it gets worse.
Yeah.
She's like, what? I go, I've been skimming the overnight oats.
Yep.
And she's like, I know. She's like, you're not tricking anybody. I see it. She's like, I see the paper towel in the trash with the thing.
You go to give her a kiss as you get into bed. Your breath reeks of oat.
yeah. She was not. And she's like, and by the way, don't you do that to me. I measure out my food. And I'm like, Jesus. But I do have this a similar feeling to you in terms of being like, fuck it.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because I'll be so good for a couple days in a row. I'll be like eating salads. I'll be like refusing croutons.
Yep.
I'll be like such a little Hitler about my, my diet.
Right.
Walking 5 miles a day. And I'm like, I'm doing it. And then sometimes, man, 2 a.m.
Yep.
I'm like, I know there's a 24-hour McDonald's around.
Oh no.
I'm not leaving
the house.
I don't leave, but I think about it.
I will say, we know people who DoorDash McDonald's at like 2 a.m. and that is bonkers to me, where they're like, I paid $48 for a 10-piece nugget. And I'm like, why?
I know we have to open the episode at some point, but the other day I was at my house and I can't even tell the story of the annoyance I had the other day because I come off as racist. But here's what I was wondering. Mm-hmm. I'm Portuguese.
Yep.
Can I just say the people there were Portuguese?
Yes.
Well,
only because I want you to get in trouble.
I'm just saying. I'm like, this guy is Portuguese. What am I gonna? Yeah. Anyway, regardless, I had to be home for several appointments.
Right.
Someone's coming to fix this. Someone's coming to fix this. This guy's coming to fix this. I can't go anywhere. Oh yeah, and also my car was one of the things being fixed, which impacted me being able to go anywhere.
Right.
A lot.
Yes.
So I was like, I was like, should I just DoorDash or Uber Eats a coffee? I wanted a coffee from Starbucks.
Right.
I work from home. I like to leave, get a coffee, come home. That's the start of my work day.
Yep.
People are like, make your own cold brew, buy your own cold brew, make your own coffee. This is my tiny ritual. I don't drink alcohol almost ever. I don't take any recreational drugs except for my THC sleeps. And then
It's like we have some exceptions to all these things.
yeah, a couple. I just want to have my coffee.
Right.
It's okay. It's fine. And I was like, should I DoorDash it? And I was like, you know what? I think I saw in my T-Mobile Tuesday app, which you get a free thing every Tuesday. You get a bunch of deals. Like I think they had a DoorDash pass.
Yep, Dash Pass. I don't know what it is, but it's there.
Okay, you ready for this shit?
I'm ready.
Dash Pass.
Yep.
You know what? Knowing DoorDash and knowing that there's a thing called Dash Pass that's usually a monthly cost. What do you think the Dash Pass is? I can't say Dash Pass.
I would think a
Dash Pass.
I
sound like
I would think a
TJ
Dish
Miller.
Push would be
A Dash Pass.
I think a Dash Pass would be either a discount or free deliver, like no delivery fee on maybe a certain number of items per month.
Okay.
I don't know what it is.
I tried to order a Starbucks on Dash Pass.
Good work.
The coffee was $5.65.
Okay, reasonable.
Large cold brew with oat milk. Guess how much with the Dash Pass it would have cost me?
$9.18.
$14.85. What are we doing in this world? How much would it be without the Dash Pass?
Yeah, that's a great question. I don't know what the Dash Pass does.
I don't get it. I don't understand the food delivery economy. Who is out there paying 3 times as much for food to get it delivered to their house where it's shittier and colder?
Yeah.
The ice is melted. My Big Mac was half eaten. You know what I mean? I don't get it.
I've never ordered. I've had stuff ordered for me.
Oh, that's a different thing.
When I had my surgery, my friends ordered some Taco Bell for me. I didn't know it was coming. I ate lunch, and then an hour and a half later, looked out on the porch, and there was like a lonely Baja Blast and a quesadilla, and I'm like, well, I do need my energy if I'm gonna heal. Yep.
I mean, it's different to get someone a little nice thing.
Yeah.
I tried to do stuff when Natalie and I were long distance when she was in Colorado.
Yep.
Man, she was a real hard ass about it.
Yeah.
I'd be like,
I've already figured out my calories for the week down to the oat.
no, I'd be like, oh, let me send something to your work. And she'd be like, no one can come into the warehouse. No one can come into the warehouse.
Yep.
And I always tried to say, like, can I come into the warehouse whenever I visited her?
Yeah.
She's like, you can't come into your warehouse. And I always said the same thing. They don't have like a bring your kid to work day. And she hated that I said that. She's like, why do you look at yourself that way?
Yeah.
And no, and by the way, no, they don't. They don't have a warehouse bring your kid to work day.
Right before we open it, are you a big flowers guy? Would you buy her flowers, or do you do you do other stuff as gifts?
I usually do other stuff, but I like a flower. I'd rather find out what someone's favorite flower is,
Right.
and then go with that as opposed to a general flower.
All right.
But I don't really know about her specific flower wants and needs.
You know who our specific flower wants and needs are the Funbears. Our buddy Ray Harrington couldn't be with us today.
Scheduling's difficult. Obviously, I'm driving in from New York, so sometimes I got a limited amount of time. But he'll be back next week. We have a bunch of good stuff coming up.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Funbearable. I'm Brad Rohrer.
And I'm Chuck, confused by the fact that fun bears are flowers. Staten.
I just wanted to transition into the actual episode. I feel like the title of the episode is advertising one thing, and we just spent 15 minutes talking about Dash Pass. And so people who are interested in the thing that the episode is titled are going to be like, when are they going to get to the fireworks factory?
I thought it was that this episode is called Dash Pass Crash. I can't even say anything.
That's great.
Holy shit. We're here for a very special reason. Mr. Brad, knowledgeable guy.
Thank you.
The brainiac of all time, as he calls himself.
I do call myself that.
The genius of the greatest generation. What is the greatest generation again?
That's the World War II generation, the ones who fought against Nazis.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Against Nazis.
That's good.
Yeah.
You're the genius of the greatest generation.
Yep.
The lab coat in the stab coat. I don't know, something about that.
Lab coat in the stab
I
coat?
was thinking about Thrill in Manila.
Yeah, I got it. I know what you were thinking of. I just didn't follow your brain all the way there.
What are other ways that we could say you're a genius in some way?
We could just, say sometimes we do a segment on the podcast in which I teach other people on the podcast about something they don't know about.
Yeah.
In the past, we've done things like the California Raisins or holiday Christmas cartoons. And
Brad gives us all the info if we don't know about a subject.
yes.
Yeah, professor. The professor with a dresser. You got a dresser?
I have a dresser. It's actually the dresser that was Chuck's when he was in high school because his folks kept it. And then when I moved into my own apartment, when I moved off campus and didn't have school furniture anymore, they were like, hey, do you need a dresser? I said, yes, I do. And they said, you could take Chucky's old dresser. And so I've had Chucky's old dresser longer than Chucky had it. So it's my new dresser.
There's Ninja Turtles like etched into the side.
Well, yeah, and there's a comically busty April O'Neil.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah. But one of the things we wanted to talk about is that there is a movie coming out called The Toxic Avenger. And this is a reboot of a movie from the 80s originally done by Troma Studios.
Yes.
And Chuck said, what's up with Troma? I don't know a lot about them.
Yeah, my experience, like when I was a kid, me and my buddy Lou Perella, who was on the Chuck and Brad podcast previously, my buddy Jordan Furtado, who rents 2 rooms in my house in Rhode Island. Great guy. I see him all the time because I come back. And Christian Staten, my cousin, drummer of my band Senior Discount. We were like the 4 close friends.
Yep.
And so on like a Friday night when we were like 15, we'd all go to my parents' house in Bristol, Rhode Island. And down the street, there was an independent video store called The Video Zone. I love The Video Zone. I never could have foreseen VHSs and the VHS rental store going away at the time. So if I had, I think I would have bought more stuff when they were selling it. They're like, oh, here's old movies in these Video Zone cases and stuff like that. Or maybe even like we're giving away some of the signage.
Right.
I didn't know it was going away. I kind of just always thought it was turning into blockbusters and chain things.
Right.
Anyway, I loved going there. It's like one of my favorite things in the world. We'd go there on Friday nights, and it was really cool because they had all these VHSs, traditional video store in the late 90s, early 2000s. And they had painting all above it.
Right.
All above on the upper walls where you couldn't reach anymore.
Right.
And the horror section was kind of sectioned off in a square. And there was a gigantic Freddy Krueger painted in there, all hand-painted stuff, which is so, so cool. And we'd go in and we would just pick movies by the cover. And not only would we just go, that cover is cool, which we could do because it was for older movies, 5 movies, 5 nights, $5. So you get it on Friday, you return it by Tuesday, you get 5 of these movies.
Yep.
Sometimes, no exaggeration, one of us would close our eyes in the middle, spin around, point, and then we'd walk towards the thing, and whatever we touched, we would get.
Ugh.
What is that?
I don't know if I can do that for $1.25.
Well, 5 movies, 5 nights, $5.
Yeah. I mean, it's $1.25 for 5 nights for that movie.
Isn't it $5?
Sorry, $1. Yeah. Sorry. I don't know what I was thinking. Oh, there's 4 of you. That's what I was thinking.
Genius of the Greatest Generation.
There's 4 of you. How much are you contributing to this $5?
$1.25.
All right, then. That's what
for
I'm
5
saying.
movies. So it's a quarter a movie?
Oh, I don't know. For a night?
So. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
You did some weird math
I'm
here.
confused on the math.
You're throwing me off.
Yeah.
You're throwing me. You don't want to hear about these movies.
I don't.
So we would do that, right? And there's a lot of cool movies out there. And I think one of them, it's weird. There's a lot of horror movies I haven't seen, but I'm so familiar with their covers.
Yeah.
Like there's one of them where it's a detached hand with a key going into a door from the side.
Okay.
Write in if you know what that is. Funbearablepod@gmail.com. Tons of them.
My memory, different movie rental place, was April Fool's Day. And it's a girl, teenage girl, and her hair is braided into the shape of a noose. And I think she had a knife behind her back as well.
Wow.
It terrified me. Just the idea that I could be hung from the neck by someone else's hair.
It smells beautiful.
Yep.
Fructis?
Yes.
That's a weird word.
Yes, it is.
But yeah, so we would do that. And then what we'd do is we'd take them home. We'd have our dumb little sleepover that was very fun. And we would, kick our legs in the air. And we're pushing each other into the bushes.
Yeah.
And having a funny time. And these movies would be playing. And we'd be joking and laughing. And then we'd watch a little bit. There'd be a scary, dumb scene. There'd be some campy bullshit.
Yeah.
We'd go back to laughing. We had so much fun. We loved doing it. We watched a lot of weird movies that way, like a lot of B and schlock stuff that way,
Right.
including a movie called The Granny that Jordan still thinks about and loves today.
Yep.
And Toxic Avenger was in that section.
Right.
And part of it. So I have seen Toxic Avenger. I think just from knowing about the Toxic Avenger and Troma films at the time, I knew about Sergeant Kabuki Man or something. And I knew about the world of it. I knew about Lloyd Kaufman.
Right.
I knew that James Gunn at some point was involved with Troma. And I feel like some directors or something got their start there, or maybe stunt people worked on it, or maybe prosthetic effects people worked there.
Right.
And they would make these schlock things on purpose. Lloyd Kaufman was kind of beloved.
Yes.
He's in a lot of he has cameos in a lot of actual big movies.
Yep.
And he was kind of a defender of weird art.
Yes.
Which I totally respect. It's not something I always want to experience. And as you get older, this is one of the things that really has affected it for me. When you're 15, your lack of responsibilities send you down these rabbit holes where you're like, insane shark movie that looks terrible.
Yep.
Let's watch it and have a good time.
Yep.
Then you get older and you're like, here's my job. Here's my girlfriend. Here's my life. Here's my whatever. Here's all my responsibilities.
I don't have any of those things.
I said life. We have improv.
Yep.
You have church.
Yep.
Therapy.
Yep.
More therapy.
Yep.
Even more therapy.
Yep. Yep.
Doctor's appointments. You're getting older.
Skin tag removals,
Yeah.
hemorrhoid surgeries.
Podcast research.
That's the worst.
But yeah, so it's like, I think you're more choosy with what you spend time on.
Yes.
Especially too with now, it's like, I think, one of the things back then too was that you're so limited. You're like, well, I have these copies of Ace Ventura that I've watched 700 times.
Right.
And so you walk to the video store and you watch your thing.
Yes.
And so now you're like, well, there's 85 acclaimed TV shows on my streaming service that I could start, or I could watch this dumb movie about a monkey puppet that kills people.
Right.
And so I think it gets harder to jump to that stuff, but I still think there's a lot of value there. And I think a lot of people really love that stuff. And I understand that completely and I respect it. I think it's cool.
Yeah.
So anyway, I wanted to find out about Troma. We were talking about how we neither of us have a real knowledge of this stuff. I don't remember the Toxic Avenger.
Right.
And I would love to find out about this company, Toxic Avenger, how they got to where they are and all that stuff. And so today we're doing a Rohrer You Know Troma / Toxie.
Now, some of this will sound like I'm reading directly from a Wikipedia entry because I am. But I have also done some stuff in my own words.
Cool.
So, Troma Entertainment is Troma, by the way, is an American independent film production and distribution company founded by Lloyd Kaufman and Michael Hertz in 1974. They are the longest running independent film studio in the world. They specialize in low budget independent or B movies, primarily of the horror comedy genre, all geared exclusively to mature audiences. Many of them play on 1950s horror with elements of farce, parody, gore, and splatter. They have produced, acquired, and distributed over 1,000 independent films since their creation. Now, they have not, as a studio, necessarily created all these movies, but they have helped distribute like an independent movie, or lots of independent movies, or they have bought rights to movies that they're like, oh, this is so weird, we want people to see it.
Yeah, and distribution, for people that don't know, is like me and Brad and I could make a movie and be like, this cost $100,000. We made this movie. And then a company like Neon, which distributed Anora, the Oscar winner this year, they could be like, all right, we love it. We're going to buy it to distribute it, which means we're going to get it in theaters, or we're going to get it on home movie or on home video, which now is streaming.
Right.
And so that means that they believed in these projects, thought that they could help them get out there, bought the title, and then put it out on video or in theaters.
Right. So with the idea that they have distributed a lot of movies, but they've also made some movies, they do some weird movies.
Right.
So I have a multiple choice question for Chuck here.
Yes.
Which of the following films is a title I, Brad, made up and not a movie made by Troma?
Okay, all right.
There's 4 choices here.
Yeah.
A, Surf Nazis Must Die.
Okay.
B, A Nymphoid Barbarian in Dinosaur Hell. C. Frostbiter, Wrath of the Wendigo. Or D. Pterodactyl Woman from Beverly Hills.
Wow.
Again, which of the following is a title I made up and not a movie made by Troma?
This is hard.
Yeah.
Let's take off Surf Nazis Must Die.
Yep.
I've seen the cover.
Yes.
So let's take it out.
Yep.
Now we're down to Nymphoids.
Nymphoid Barbarian in Dinosaur Hell, Frostbiter, Wrath of the Wendigo, or Pterodactyl Woman. Did I say Pterodactyl Woman from Beverly Hills?
This guy doesn't seem like a genius this
I'm
episode.
having a rough go of it.
You're like five divided by 1 is $1.25.
I've inhaled so much cinnamon sugar dust. It is affecting my brain.
Just knowing, oh man, I don't think that you would come up with the phrase dinosaur hell. I just know you.
Yep.
Take it out of there.
Okay, so we're down to Frostbiter, Wrath of the Wendigo, or a Pterodactyl Woman from Beverly Hills. Dash pass.
Just knowing you, it's weird. I don't know how I can explain this to others. I know you wrote Frostbiters, but I don't know what makes me know that.
So your answer is C, Frostbiter, Wrath of the Wendigo?
Oh no, you're saying it might not be right.
I'm saying it's a trick question. They were all made by Troma.
See, that's kind of the
Yeah.
Frostbiter, Wrath of the Wendigo.
Yeah.
I think that the reason I thought that was you is because Frostbiter is like, oh, a fun twist on Frostbite.
Yep.
And then Wrath of the Wendigo makes sense as an actual like subtitle that you would see in a book.
It seems like a lot of their movies were based on punny titles. And
Yeah.
they're like, let's write a movie to go with, for example, Poultrygeist.
I think Poultrygeist, Ginger Dead Man, all that kind of stuff starts as a title and says, how do we work around this?
By the way, Pterodactyl Woman from Beverly Hills stars Beverly D'Angelo, who was the mom in National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Doesn't she have like some big sweet titties?
Their most famous movie is...
in that movie?
Yeah.
And they're just like... You want to squeeze them and rub them and
Their
kiss
most
them?
famous movie
Did
is
you feel like that
The
as a
Toxic
child?
Avenger, 1984, but you may also know Class of Nukem High from 1986, Sergeant Kabuki Man, NYPD, 1990, Tromeo and Juliet, 1996, which was my first exposure, like first learning about it. I saw the video, and it was like made by Troma Studios, and I'm like, whoa, what? Terror Firmer, 1999, and Poultrygeist, Night of the Chicken Dead, 2006.
I'll tell you a really strange thing.
Yes.
So I know that I love Trey Parker and Matt Stone. I probably started loving them when South Park was first airing. We did not have Comedy Central where I lived.
Right.
So what they did at the time, which is pretty novel, I think, was that they would release 2 episodes of South Park, and it was so popular that they would put them on VHS tapes and put them in rental stores.
Yeah.
So at Video Zone, I would rent South Park Volume 1, and it would be the first 2. South Park Volume 2. And I went on a deep dive, and I found out about all the stuff they had done, including Cannibal the Musical, which is a movie that Trey Parker and Matt Stone made while they were in college.
Yeah.
And Troma had bought the rights and distributed it.
Right.
And Matt Stone and Trey Parker did some kind of short film with Troma where the only part I remember is that they go up to a restroom sign and it says man or woman, and they're wearing these big weird like outfits, and it's like that's not, they don't fit, and they're like looking at each other. I don't know if they made the whole film. I remember that. I don't know where it came from. And I think eventually I had like either a VHS tape or a DVD of Cannibal the Musical. I don't remember. But there was a trailer that sticks out in my head, not the visuals, just the audio of Terror Firmer.
Okay.
And I don't know, I can't place it, but I think that my real exposure to them was Cannibal the Musical and whatever trailers were in front of it.
Nice.
Mine
was literally the box art on Tromeo and Juliet. That was it.
Yeah. And I do remember the Toxic Avenger, but I remember more the cartoon version of him that got a TV show.
Oh, we'll talk about that.
All right.
So in 1979,
Yes.
Troma produced and released the movie Squeeze Play, a boob movie, if you will. Yeah.
Wow. It was Beverly D'Angelo in that? Because in National Lampoon's Family Vacation.
Yeah. They had about one movie a year, Troma did, none crazy successful, until 1984 when The Toxic Avenger came out. It was their first horror movie instead of a boob movie. And Lloyd Kaufman had read an article that said, hey, it's 1983, whatever, monster movies are out. And he was like, oh, yeah? And so he decided to take a crack at it.
Can I give you a little bit of a theory I have and a philosophy
Yes.
that has never been proved remotely true, and I really believe in it still. You know when you're trying to make a thing, you're trying to pitch a thing.
Yep.
Like studios and people will be like, "Oh, that's not in right now."
Yep.
To me, that's what you do.
Yeah.
What you greenlight because you're going to stand out way more.
Yep.
Like for example, if Twilight comes out and they're like vampires are in, and then there's 12 vampire things.
Yep.
And all the consumers are like, yeah, there's a vampire movie, and they just kind of like,
Right.
it becomes white noise.
Yeah.
Isn't that the time that you do a different thing that stands out by itself?
Yes.
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, this is probably a good example of it.
Yeah.
If monster movies are out and he made one and it was successful.
One reason that Toxie, what we call the Toxic Avenger, may have been so popular, aside from the cartoonish violence and mayhem, was that he always fought for the underdog, never taking the side of the establishment. Now, the movie was not an immediate success, but it became the midnight movie for most of 1985 at the Bleecker Street Cinema in New York City, and word of mouth made it eventually a hit.
Wow.
And it got a wider release in April 1986.
Wow.
And so that was, it wasn't a thing where it was like well received immediately. It was somebody like an independent theater said, we're going to
show it all the time.
We're going to show it and we're going to make this a thing.
Wow.
And they made it a thing.
Wow.
Which is...
And this is one of those things that's like, it's a schlocky thing that people are sort of enjoying ironically.
Yes.
Okay. But also enjoying a lot.
Yes.
Okay.
Now I have the plots for the 4 Toxic Avenger movies.
Hit me, baby. One more time.
I'm going to try, I have they're all cut and pasted, but I'm going to try to speed them up a little bit because there's a lot. There's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, speed them up.
So Melvin Ferd is a scrawny janitor at a health club in Tromaville, New Jersey.
Right. I know Tromaville is a consistent thing.
Yep. Regularly like bullied by this group of 4 people, but they're terrible. They run over the head of a preteen cyclist, and the city's like, well, it's okay. It just happens because again, we're in a cartoonish violence world.
Is this accidental or intentional? As like we're bullies?
Intentional, yeah.
Whoa!
As a cruel prank, the group tricks Melvin into wearing a pink tutu and kissing a sheep in anticipation of having sex with Julie. He's ridiculed and chased around the health club and out a second-story window. He falls into a drum of toxic waste on a truck parked outside, which transforms him into a hulking, hideously deformed mutant with superhuman size and strength.
Okay.
Now, I gotta say, we were very worried about toxic waste in the 80s.
Yeah.
You don't really hear about it now. Which
I don't know
makes
if it's a
me
thing.
wonder.
Is toxic waste a real thing?
I
What
think
is it?
well, basically, it was like the spent fuel from a nuclear plant has to be disposed of in such a careful way because you can't have the radioactivity like leaking into groundwater. That'll give people cancer. It won't give them superhuman strength.
Right.
Usually.
Okay.
As far as we know. And so in the 80s, there were more functional nuclear plants, and we were closer to Chernobyl and 3 Mile Island than we are now.
Yeah.
So I think that was a big part of like, we're worried about toxic waste, especially in New Jersey.
Wow. Okay.
Which at one time was like the highest concentration of nuclear waste in the world, even though it's called the Garden State. It was, I don't know. I probably saw a comic make a joke about it on VH1 stand-up special in 1989. And so in my brain, I'm like, New Jersey is all toxic waste and Taylor ham. All right, so Melvin, a group of drug dealers led by the gangster Cigarface are trying to bribe a police officer. He refuses. Cigarface and his gang are going to castrate the police officer. Melvin appears and brutally kills most of the criminals, leaving a mop on their faces as a calling card. But Cigarface escapes, promises to take revenge. Melvin goes home. His mother's terrified, will not let him in the house, so he builds a home in the junkyard. Sometime later, a gang of 3 men hold up a Mexican restaurant for seemingly no reason and attack a blind woman named Sarah. They kill her guide dog and attempt to rape her, but are stopped by Melvin. Melvin takes Sarah back to her home, where they get to know one another and become romantically involved.
Blind lady.
Yep.
And
Classic.
monster.
Yeah, trope.
Right.
He continues to vanquish local criminals. He's the monster hero. In a press conference, a scientist explains that as a result of his mutation, Melvin has developed an innate sense of who is evil and is compelled to attack them brutally when he encounters them. Tromaville's mayor, Peter Bellgoody, secretly the leader of Tromaville's extensive crime ring, fears having the truth of his corruption exposed and wants Melvin gone. A group of men, led by Cigarface, surround Melvin with guns in an alley.
Cigarface.
Just before they fire on him, he leaps to a fire escape, so they shoot each other instead. Cartoon.
Yeah.
He takes revenge on the 4 bullies who initially caused his transformation. Blah, blah, blah. Kill, kill, kill. When Melvin kills a seemingly innocent old woman in a dry cleaning store, she was in fact the leader of a human trafficking ring, Bellgoody calls in the United States National Guard. Melvin, seemingly unaware he only attacks evil people, is horrified at what he has become. He and Sarah move away from the city and into a tent in the nearby woods. They're eventually discovered. The mayor and the National Guard come to kill him, with the mayor reasoning that Melvin is a monster, not a person. However, the people of Tromaville step in, and Melvin's mother identifies the mutant as her son. The mayor's evil ways are revealed, and Melvin disembowels him and kills him in front of the crowd. Hailed as a hero, Melvin continues to combat crime in Tromaville, and the film's narrator announces he is now known as the Toxic Avenger.
Okay. So that was the big one.
Yeah.
And like, just to make it clear for the audience, that's what's being remade, or that's what has been remade, and will be releasing in theaters around the time of this episode, with Peter Dinklage as the Toxic Avenger.
Yes.
Okay. So this was their big hit.
Yes.
And this, do you think that this did this like speed up all their stuff where they started making way more stuff?
No.
More original stuff?
Not initially, but eventually, they went from making 1 movie a year to 2 or 3 movies a year. And then, 1 year there was like 6. And,
Okay.
But, Class of Nukem High came out in 1986. So that was already in production as Toxic Avengers running at Bleecker Street.
Okay.
And so, they didn't realize how big of a hit it was going to be.
Yeah.
Toxie 2.
Okay.
Melvin Junko, you'll notice they changed his last name.
Why is that?
Junko is funnier than Ferd, I guess.
Okay.
Has been transformed into the superhero, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
His blind girlfriend, Claire, different name, gets him a job at the Tromaville Center for the Blind.
Wow, that's so weird that they changed all the names.
Yep.
Okay.
Apocalypse Inc., a New York-based chemical company, finds Tromaville to be the perfect home for its new takeover site and has an employee disguised as a PUS delivery man, like UPS, but it spells pus.
Yeah. yeah.
Deliver a bomb into the center. Claire escapes upon learning of the bomb, but everyone else is killed. When the delivery man and an Apocalypse construction worker arrive to begin their takeover, the Toxic Avenger emerges from the rubble and kills them. This leads to an all-out assault by members of Apocalypse Inc. Toxie defeats the thugs. Displeased, the chairman orders his number one, Mona Malfair, to call a meeting with the board of directors and fire the entire personnel department.
Okay.
Apocalypse Inc. discover Toxie's father has left him and his mother when he was a baby. Using one of their bad girls as Toxie's psychologist, they convince Toxie to go to Japan to look for his father, even though he has reservations about leaving Claire. Claire tells Toxie to go find his father. He heads to Japan using a wind surfboard and a paper. That's straight from Wikipedia.
What's a paper? What does that mean?
I don't know.
Wind surfboard and a paper. Okay.
Asking for his father from the worker at a local Japanese restaurant. However, forgetting his passport, he enters Tokyo Godzilla style, shocking a group of beachgoers, meaning he comes up out of the water.
Right, I got it.
He runs into Masami, who is at first shocked, but befriends him after he saves her from some thugs. She offers to help him find his father. Meanwhile, Apocalypse takes advantage of Toxie's absence and begins a hostile takeover of Tromaville. People who stand up against them are beaten or killed. Masami and Toxie find Big Mac Junko, a Japanese man. Toxie is elated until Masami sees a shipment of fish dropped on the floor and discovers cocaine in the fish. Big Mac is a Yakuza leader who delves in drug dealing. I think delves is wrong there, but that's fine. Toxie goes through a series of battles against...
Dabbles in drug dealing.
Against Yakuza enforcers and Kabuki warriors. Using the environment to his advantage, Toxie defeats the entire gang, only leaving him and his father.
Okay.
Big Mac reveals to Toxie a bottle of anti-tromatons, which can kill Toxie. Toxie kicks the bottle out of his father's hand and pushes him to a fish butcher who, excited by the action, kills Toxie's dad by chopping him up. Like a cartoon. The bottle breaks and Toxie begins to weaken. Masami takes Toxie to his sumo gym where he is healed and begins training in the art of sumo before saying goodbye to Masami and heading back to Tromaville. He learns that Malfair and the bad girls are assaulting Claire. He takes on the bad girls while Claire gets the upper hand on Malfair, incapacitating her. The chairman hires a motorcycle rider named Dark Rider to destroy Tromaville. With nitroglycerin strapped to Dark Rider's back, the plan is for the Dark Rider to burst into City Hall. Toxie hijacks a taxi and after a series of turns and misses ends up crashing. Toxie hijacks a hovercraft and drives it after the Dark Rider, forcing him to bust into a home, causing the Dark Rider's demise. The people of Tromaville are elated. A man arrives in Tromaville and is revealed to be Melvin's real father. The Yakuza leader he defeated in Japan was Big Mac Bunko, who is glad to be reunited with... The dad is glad to be reunited with both Melvin and his mom and is happy that Bunko, who has used identity theft against him, is no more. The chairman and Malfair unsuccessfully attempt to hitch a ride back to New York.
Okay. So this is them capitalizing on the popularity.
Yes.
They're like, look, if this is our main character who, you know, is giving us all this success, then we're just going to keep this going. Obviously, that makes sense. New Line Cinema did the same thing with Freddy Krueger.
Yes, they did.
Okay, cool. So they're making more stuff. Are they going more towards making things that are like the Toxic Avenger?
I think that at this time they're still like all right, horror comedy is our lane.
Yeah,
that's what we're gonna go with. And
like,
so
like gore to a silly degree.
Yes,
where it becomes comedy.
Yes, cartoonish violence.
Yes.
And I think that more than anything was what I got out of like all this Troma research was like we want live action cartoons. We want a person to chase a roadrunner off a cliff.
Yeah, and
the roadrunner gets across, and we want the person to fall, but we want to see them splatter.
Yeah.
That to me is Troma's ethos.
Yeah.
Toxie 3. Things have become peaceful again in Tromaville, putting Melvin Junko, the Toxic Avenger, into depression as he can no longer fight crime. He fails at normal jobs like auto mechanic or babysitter.
Why can't he fight crime anymore?
Because it's so peaceful.
Oh,
He's done such a good job. He's a victim of his own success.
Oh, man.
Claire, his blind girlfriend, may be able to see again thanks to a new groundbreaking surgery, but it will cost $357,000.
Okay.
It's the American healthcare system.
Wow.
In, I think, 1990 something.
Right.
Toxie takes a job as a spokesman for Apocalypse Inc., the New York-based chemical company he defeated before, since he will be paid enough for Claire's surgery. He signs the contract in his own blood. I like that. Claire has her surgery for the first time. She sees Toxie and falls even more in love with him.
Okay.
As Apocalypse Inc. comes in to promote their chemicals, the people of Tromaville are shocked to see their hero, the Toxic Avenger, agreeing with Apocalypse. His ego has inflated to a point, and he has become a yuppie. Again, early 90s. Claire unsuccessfully confronts Toxie. When Toxie sees a group of kids knocking down a poster of him and kicking it, he finally realizes what has happened. He remembers a saying at church, which makes him decide to once again clean up Tromaville. He earns the trust of the people of Tromaville once again by killing a gang of Apocalypse Inc. goons who were holding hostages at the Tromaville video store. You guys could have been there.
Mm-hmm.
Spending $0.25 per movie per night.
Each.
Yep. He now faces the chairman, who reveals he's actually the devil, a green-skinned demon, and challenges Toxie to his favorite video game, The 5 Levels of Doom.
Okay.
The first level, Earth, involves getting sucked into the ground. When Toxie gets his head out of the ground, Mona Malfair orders an Apocalypse thug to decapitate Toxie with a lawnmower, but it proves unsuccessful. The second level, Fire, has both Toxie and the devil set on fire. Toxie is saved by some Tromaville residents who douse him with water. With the devil still on fire and laughing hysterically, Toxie resorts to urinating on the devil, extinguishing the flames.
Okay.
Seems like something you would write.
Yeah.
You'd be like, all right, then I piss on you. In the third level, Wind, the devil kidnaps the kids of Tromaville, sends them to a mountain by bus, and unleashes strong winds that risk putting the bus over the mountain. Toxie arrives at the cliff and has the kids escape via the back door. Malfair, in an attempt to shoot down Toxie and the kids, is crushed by the bus when it falls down the cliff. Cartoon. In the fourth level, Water, Toxie is put into a massive puddle in an attempt to drown him. However, Toxie escapes using a sumo trick he learned in Japan. Continuity.
Wow. Yep.
The devil unleashes the final level in which he transforms the Toxic Avenger back into little Melvin, who once again becomes the victim of bullying, now by Apocalypse Inc. When Claire attempts to intervene, she is once again rendered blind. When Melvin is getting picked on, Claire returns home and finds the contract. She finds an escape clause that will allow termination by an act of God. An angel, disguised as a messenger, arrives and gives Melvin a scroll. It begins to rain. Melvin is transformed back into the Toxic Avenger, and Claire is able to once again see. Melvin defeats the devil, ripping his skin off to expose rats and bugs all over his carcass.
Okay.
He decapitates the devil and throws his head to Tokyo, where a news reporter demonstrates a new hair growth formula to a customer. Having defeated Apocalypse Inc., Melvin and Claire celebrate by getting married and are now monster and wife.
Okay.
Now, here's the thing about 2 and 3, is that Lloyd Kaufman wrote a huge script and was like, oh, this is too much for one movie.
Yep.
And so split it and added things to flesh it out into 2 full movies.
Right.
As I was reading this, I'm like, man, the idea of a contest with the devil, fine, and it's with these different elements.
Yeah. Makes sense.
I don't know how the execution was.
I don't know. I will say I did hear recently that there's a new cut of 2 and 3 together that makes it one movie.
Maybe.
And this is like in the past couple of years, I
Yeah.
believe, something like that.
So before we get to Toxie 4, let's talk about the the Toxic Crusaders.
This is what I was going to ask about. So like it became big enough where a company made a Saturday morning cartoon.
Yes, Playmates Toys, the same company responsible for the Ninja Turtles action figures, released a line of similarly styled Toxic Crusader figures in 1991.
Wow.
The majority of characters featured bright neon colors and glow-in-the-dark accessories. TV commercials for the figures used the tagline, "They're gross, but they still get girls."
That's my tagline.
Yeah, it is. Similar to the Ninja Turtles retro mutagen ooze, Playmates also marketed a canister of slime labeled Toxie's Toxic Waste.
Wow.
Basically, they came up with the idea of the toys and then did the cartoon
To push the toys.
push the toys, like with so many other things.
Yeah.
And so they did 13 total episodes, and it was Toxie and friends battling, kind of like an overarching villain, but also like a villain of the episode. But here's another multiple choice question for you.
By the way, that sounds just like Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
Because Shredder and Krang are kind of like Darth Vader in the thing.
Yep.
But they'd also be like, here's this week's thing. Oh, you know what? Like Power Rangers.
Yeah.
There's Lord Zed and Rita.
Yep.
And they're like, and they throw like a pig to Earth, and the pig becomes a thing. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Villain of the week / overarching villain.
All right. Multiple choice question for you about the Toxic Crusaders cartoon. Again, 13 total episodes. Which of the following is not a character? Oh, I'm sorry. Which of the following is a character I made up and is not a real character in the Toxic Crusaders TV series? A. Paluto, a living oil slick.
That's funny.
B. Junkyard, a half-human, half-dog created when a homeless man took shelter with a junkyard dog in a toxic waste-covered shelter, and then it was struck by lightning. No Zone, originally a test pilot who, after flying through a hole in the ozone layer and crashing into a silo of radioactive pepper, gained the appearance of a blue-skinned humanoid with a wheel for a right foot.
Okay.
He has the power to emit powerful sneezes from his enormous nose.
That guy's real, and the Wolfman's real.
Mower Man, a man who was originally a gardener. After taking a nap in a garden shed that contained leaking gardening chemicals, which exploded in the heat, he became a half-man, half-gardening equipment hybrid. He describes himself as a hideously deformed creature of superhuman shears and strength.
Are you playing the game where it's all real again?
I am playing the game where it is all real again.
So can I tell you why I know 2 of them?
Yes, I'd love to.
A couple of years ago, I was dating this lady, And we went to this video game convention in Philadelphia, and she was friends with people who were developing the Toxic Crusaders video game.
Yes.
It looks amazing. I played the demo of it on the floor. They had, I think they must have had like an arcade style machine. I don't really remember exactly how I played it, but they had the one leg guy.
No zone with a powerful nose.
No zone.
Blue skinned, wheel for a foot.
And they had the werewolf guy. And
junkyard dog, half homeless man, half junkyard dog.
And so I know that.
I wonder what kind of spring rolls he ate.
Yeah. By the way, game was awesome.
Yep.
Can't wait. It still hasn't come out. And think about how long ago that was.
Yep.
It's going to be 3 years.
Yep.
Anyway, great game. It was really fun. I still have a little toxic waste container that they were giving out. It's like a clear container with like the green gack in it or whatever. So that's how I knew them. But it's funny, guys, I never really watched the show.
Right.
But knowing me as a child, I wouldn't be surprised if I had some of the toys. Like, that's the type of kid I was. I was so interested in design and ideas. Like, I remember I had this gigantic X-Men poster. It was all painted of like probably like 15 of the X-Men together. And it wasn't because I'm like, I love Rogue, I love this. It was just because I'm like, this art is so cool. These characters are so cool. And I think I probably felt the same way with the Toxic Crusaders because I don't remember watching the show whatsoever, but I do remember them being in toy stores.
It's weird because I think I was too young for the Toxic Avenger, but then when the Toxic Crusaders came out, I was too old for the Toxic Crusaders.
Yeah, and it might be a thing too where it's like the Toxic Avenger is probably aimed at people who are the ages of 16 to 25.
Yep.
And the Crusaders were probably aimed at people who were like 5 to 10.
Yeah.
Something like that. You know what I mean? So it's easy to be not in either of those categories at different times.
So Toxie 4, Citizen Toxie.
Well, so what's going on during this whole time? They're just making more stuff.
They're making more. So Sergeant Kabuki Man came out in 1990.
Was that a spinoff?
That was, they're all in the interconnected Troma verse.
Right.
And so characters,
a lot of them are in Tromaville or it's mentioned, which is the city in New Jersey.
And so it'll be maybe not even to the level of a cameo, maybe a mention, like how in the Stephen King book, The Institute, they mention like, oh, that bad business at Salem's Lot a few years back.
Oh, okay.
Stuff like that. So as this is going, they're releasing movies, but the Toxic Avenger is like their cash cow, even though the movies are becoming less like well received and less financially successsul. But they're still releasing, kind of a movie or two a year.
Wow.
But I have Toxie 4, Citizen Toxie.
I think, man, it's so funny because Jordan and I, my buddy, were really the ones that had this relationship where we would deep dive into these weird things. Like we would watch the FMW imported wrestling DVDs with Hayabusa, which was this respected Japanese wrestling promotion. We would watch all the Jackass copycats. The way they, in the Jackass spinoff movies in the early 2000s, what they would do is they would be like, make their own DVDs. They'd press them themselves and they'd sell them online and we'd order them. Like $25, the DVD comes in the mail. And Troma was some of that stuff, or some of the stuff that was like Troma, like Schlocky. And we did watch Citizen Toxie, which I do not remember whatsoever.
Well, here's the thing. So we just talked about 2 and 3.
Yeah.
Citizen Toxie is, it ignores the events of 2 and 3. And they're like, no, consider this the actual sequel to the original Toxic Avenger film.
Why?
I don't know.
Let me text Jordan. I just want to see. Jordan, hey, did we watch, because I really want to know this, Citizen Toxie together. Did we watch I want to ask him because I want to hear, he has such a better memory than I do about this stuff.
Yeah.
A bunch of the Troma stuff.
Well, I have the plot. So maybe when you hear the plot of Citizen Toxie, you'll be like, oh, of course I remember it. Or I remember this certain character because I later became friends with someone who was like that character.
That's good.
Not me.
I will say one thing real quick just to kind of give some updates. Exciting.
Yep.
Friend of the podcast, Brian Rupert.
Yes.
From Reviewing History and Tell Him Steve Dave. He said, I just saw Fantastic Four, which came out today.
Yep.
And like, by the way, today meaning like I thought tonight at 7 p.m. because it's Thursday beforehand. He said, I fucking loved it.
Great.
And he's a movie guy. He likes a lot of stuff.
Yep.
He can be a little bit difficult to please. And he liked it.
Good.
He's not that difficult to please. He's just a little sensitive to weird stuff.
Yep. Toxie 4, Citizen Toxie.
Yeah.
The diaper mafia, criminals dressed as infants,
I want to try to remember it. Yeah, go ahead.
break into the Tromaville School for the Very Special and commit a mass shooting.
Very special.
The Toxic Avenger, a.k.a. Toxie, shows up under the guise of a bikini news model alongside his morbidly obese sidekick, Lardass. They kill the gang members in grotesque fashion, with Toxie eviscerating the leader. Before he dies, the leader, Tex, reveals an explosive device has been implanted in his body. Toxie runs home to impregnate his wife, Sarah, leaving Lardass to disarm the bomb by smearing peanut butter over it.
Wait, hold on. Why does he run home to impregnate his wife instead of helping the situation?
That's a great question.
I mean,
That's not in the Wikipedia summary.
I've run out to do a similar thing, but not with the intention of impregnating.
Yeah. Leaving Lardass to disarm the bomb by smearing peanut butter over it, eating it, and draining it in his stomach through flatulence. Upon returning, Toxie rescues the pregnant teacher and 2 students, Tito and Sweetie Honey. The urgency of the situation forces them to leave Lardass behind, which results in his demise when a diaper mafia member and a student, in a moment of intimacy, unknowingly trigger the explosive by lighting a cigarette. So presumably somehow the bomb is
around,
related to his farts. They light his thing, and
methane.
So much terrible gas has been built up.
Yes. Like the cows in the rainforest.
That's correct.
Right?
Yep.
Cow.
The explosion transport Toxie and the students to Amortville, a mirror version of Tromaville.
I love it already.
In an alternate universe. I do like that. I do like things based on spelling.
Yeah.
The police shoot at Toxie. Evil Kabuki Man, an evil version of Sergeant Kabuki Man, helps him escape the police. Amortville's version of Toxie, the noxious offender, Noxie.
I think I do remember warring Toxies. Is one of them a different color?
Yes. Appears in Tromaville and starts murdering the citizens. Both supers are confused by their surroundings. Noxie finds the Nazi Sergeant Kaczynski to be an ally. Mayor Goldberg introduces 4 new superheroes to Tromaville, including a washed-up Sergeant Kabuki Man. Searching for answers, Toxie comes across a man named Pompey, who, after being dragged along the back of a truck by rednecks, is decapitated, but is a still living head. He also finds Amortville's version of Lardass, named Chester, who is a scientist broke on the streets. Chester's former wife, Claire, is Noxie's lover. Toxie offers to bring her back to Chester, but gets into a fight with evil Kabuki Man. Noxie becomes mayor of Tromaville after killing Mayor Goldberg, reverting the place into Amortville, and impregnates Sarah. Toxie wanders into the factory of an evil superhero, Mad Cowboy, where he finds Tito, Pompey, and Sweetie Honey held captive. Toxie throws Mad Cowboy into a meat grinder cartoon, and the 3 escape. This is crazy. The Tromaville superheroes attempt to take down Noxie and Kaczynski, but all are killed except for Sergeant Kabuki Man, who drunkenly wanders into Toxie's home and impregnates a sleeping Sarah. Claire finds Chester, and the 2 become a couple again. Sarah visits her gynecologist, who tells her she is pregnant with 2 babies from 2 different fathers. Toxie and Chester find their way back to Tromaville, clicking red shoes together and saying, "There's no place like Tromaville." Tito stays behind and dedicates himself to making Amortville safe, with Pompey as a sidekick. Toxie and Sweetie Honey arrive in Tromaville to discover Sarah in labor. At the hospital, Toxie brutally slays the Nazi soldiers and Kaczynski. He finds Sarah's room with Noxie inside, and the 2 fight alongside their babies within Sarah's uterus. Toxie kills Noxie by ripping his organs out. Melvin, the Amortville version of Melvin Ferd, Toxie's true identity, emerges from Noxie's stomach and attacks Toxie, who throws him out the window into a barrel of toxic waste. He runs away in flames, laughing. Surrounded by witnesses of the Tromaville School for the Very Special, who express their gratitude to Toxie for his heroism, Sarah gives birth to her and Toxie's child, as well as Sergeant Kabuki Man's. An enraged Toxie chases Sergeant Kabuki Man as everyone else laughs. That's the movie.
Wow.
Like, we have had some truly insane pitch doctors moments in the course of Funbearable.
Yeah.
I feel like not even Dr. Genius, not even the insanity of Dr. McFrankenstein gets to this.
So this is what I was kind of thinking. I was actually thinking about this during it. And I think it completely goes with what you're saying. There's something really freeing in this.
Yes.
Where you go, the stupidest, craziest thing, yes, put it in, we'll work with it.
Yep.
I almost want to suggest that and I'll do it on the podcast, so you can talk to me about how you feel about it, but we're letting the people in.
I'm against it.
So it'd be fun for us to come up with our own Troma-style movies. No existing characters, no pre-existing like situations we're getting into. We just write whatever we want from the heart of our hearts.
I will say one of us has kind of already done that.
Who?
You.
With what?
Your movies, your pitches are often farcical.
But they're dependent on an existing world.
Right.
I think it's really interesting to have to create your own thing like this, like the Toxic Avenger.
I think, I mean, I'm open to it for a future episode, but I will say I will struggle with it because I struggle to write R-rated comedy.
I don't think it needs to be R-rated.
Yeah.
Like a lot.
That's the point of Tromaville is like.
I mean, I'll put it this way.
Audiences.
So that one had like the impregnation and all that stuff.
Yep.
Did the first one have stuff? I mean, I understand that there was gore on screen.
There's gore.
But besides that, the stories didn't sound R-rated.
No. But, we're reading a Wikipedia summary. They're like, oh, this cast member was the Gyno-American. And I'm like, that's just a woman. That's like fighting against feminism. It's like, this lady identifies herself as a Gyno-American. But Lloyd Kaufman seems so like progressive in his art. It's hard for me to imagine
that it's not.
Yeah.
Well, maybe there's some sort of satirical thing that doesn't get through.
Yeah.
But I think you could do it. I mean, I think you're pretty good at coming up with wild and wacky ideas, better than me in terms of like original ideas.
Yeah.
I think you would come up with something like there was this, even in, there was a Pitch Doctors. I don't know if it's out yet. Yeah, it is. No, it might be. You talked about the idea of how this person switched bodies with this other person. Yes. Like even that kind of stuff, I feel like you're better at coming up with that kind of stuff than me. When in my dumb bullshit writing, I do like being like, well, Michael Myers' mask was picked up by Jigsaw and blah, 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 and dumb stuff like that. But I think you're better at coming up with an original thing that's like, if you would come up with like Lightning Man, and here's how he existed, and you'll come up with actual.
It's weird because I like that might work, but the idea of like, all right, so he's green, or he's blue, and he's got a wheel for a foot, and he's got a big nose. How did his power? He sneezes. Oh, why? Oh, radioactive pepper, of course.
I feel like you're better at coming up there with that.
I'll say this: I'll get to powerful sneezes, but I'm not adding in the blue skin, and certainly not the wheel for the foot.
I think this is a fun exercise.
I think, I have to stretch my brain. On stage at improv, if my scene partner comes out and says, I have, first of all, weird initiation. I have blue skin, a wheel for a foot, and super powerful sneezes. I have to accept that this is the reality we're living in.
I think that it would be really fun for us because this is such an interesting thing that I've never thought about until you brought all these synopses up. Pretty good use of synopses.
Accurate, yes.
But we come up with a lot of Pitch Doctors stuff that's like a variation on the existing world, and we take all these things that are set and we bring them on our own journey.
Yep.
The idea of us creating a balls to the wall, wild, Troma type movie, completely original, I think is a really fun exercise for us.
Yeah.
I'm down to do it if you're down.
I'm down to do it. Give me 6 months.
No, let's do it. We'll do it next recording.
All right.
But that's not going to be for a little bit.
Yeah.
That's really fun. Wow, that's really interesting. I'm waiting for Jordan to hit me back about Citizen Toxic and what our relationship was to it.
All right. So there's going to be a reboot that either will be out in theaters soon or just came out in theaters.
Yep. Peter Dinklage as Toxie.
And this has kind of been going on since 2010. They started the reboot process. And then, of course, like so many things, they're like, oh, we got new writers in 2013, 2016, 2020. It debuted at Fantastic Fest in 2023.
This is the new one.
Yep. And it wasn't it wasn't approved for wide release for a long time because it was so like cartoonishly like gory and, you know, for lack of a better term, mature. It has been described as unreleasable due to its gore and graphic content. Filmmaker and producer Adam Masnick stated on X that no distributors have come forward citing concerns it's not safe enough to market and could potentially become lost media. But in January 2025, Cineverse acquired the distribution rights to the film and planned with plans to release it unrated after initially receiving an R rating later that year. And yeah, that's it. So one more question, a multiple choice question for you. Which of the following actors is not in the Toxic Avenger reboot? A, Elijah Wood.
Oh, he's nuts. I love him.
B, Kevin Bacon.
Oh.
C, Peter Dinklage.
Okay.
D, Jason Statham, who is not in the Toxic Avenger reboot.
Knowing you, I feel like it's all a lie and they're all in it. But if not, it's D, Jason Statham's not in it.
Jason Statham is not in it, but Kevin Bacon and Elijah Wood are in the movie.
Elijah Wood is nuts. He's the best. He's a true believer in like fucking different types of art and all these different stretching in different ways and making cool stuff. I knew it.
I mean, yeah, there's been a ton of big names that have been in Troma films over the years. Vanna White was in the movie Graduation Day. Kevin Costner, I think it might have been his debut in the movie Sizzle Beach, USA. Vincent D'Onofrio was in The First Turn On. Billy Bob Thornton was in Chopper Chicks in Zombie Town.
Wow.
James Gunn was in Tromeo and Juliet. Carmen Electra was in The Chosen One. And just, you know, kind of winding it on up, just the history. The studio prides itself on its self-imposed rules of production. 1, safety to humans. 2, safety to property. 3, make a good movie, written in smaller font than the first 2.
Love that.
Which is beautiful.
I love that.
The last movie that I know of that they did was called Shakespeare's Shitstorm.
Yep.
Which is a take on The Tempest, the Shakespeare play. Now, I am not a schlock guy. It's just never appealed to me from a horror and gore standpoint. Boob movies, I'm in.
Yeah, Beverly D'Angelo.
You know, I
you know what you used to call her? You know what Brad used to call Beverly D'Angelo? Beverly Double D D'Angelo. Wait a minute. Double D'Angelo. You're fucking dumb face.
Well, you're fucking dumb joke.
That's a perfect log line for the podcast. You're fucking dumb face. Well, you're fucking dumb joke.
So I went on, you know, I Googled, why do people love Troma movies so much? I found a Reddit thread from 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Here are some answers.
This is great.
Before getting our celebrity endorsement, final thing. So this is Pixel Sauce said, one thing to know is that there are 2 types of Troma movies, those made by Lloyd Kaufman, the founder of Troma, and those that they're just distributing. Lloyd's films have a pretty cohesive style with a mix of humor, over-the-top gore, and cheesy production values. They're basically low-budget horror cartoons in live action. None of them are 2022 PC, but they are all entertaining to a certain degree. His movies include the Toxie series, the Nukem High series, and Poultrygeist. I love them just as much as I'm repulsed by them. It's all part of the enjoyment. They're also the movies they distribute. I once knew a horror director making a super, super, super low-budget Killer Nun movie in his house. He was hoping to get picked up by Troma. They vary widely in quality and style/tone. It's been a decade or so, but I remember really liking Killer Condom, which was actually a startlingly touching portrait of the life of a gay immigrant in 90s NYC, LOL. Rabid Grannies was good, gory fun, too. It's just one person's opinion. Invisible Bunny King said, I love Troma movies. I'd say overall they're so bad they're good. They're a great group watch to laugh and have a good time, with a couple exceptions. And I think that's also part of it, is that watching a dumb movie with friends is 1 million times better than watching a dumb movie by yourself.
Yeah, I think a famous one for me and you, in terms of famous meaning in our relationship.
Yep.
Pumpkinhead 2 Blonde Wigs.
One of the worst films I've ever seen.
Which we were not prepared for.
No, we were not prepared. Like, I knew it was going to be rough, but I did not know it was going to be that rough.
We watched Pumpkinhead 1, which is like, you know, they're trying to make a monster movie. Lance Henriksen is legitimately a good actor.
Yep.
And of course, it's a low budget 80s monster movie, so we thought it was gonna be like kind of campy, and it was fun, and it was good in that way. Pumpkinhead 2 Blood Wings is 1,000,000 times worse.
Yep.
The acting is terrible. The script is terrible. None of it makes sense. And we weren't prepared for it.
Nope.
So when we watched it, we were laughing
Yes.
as hard as we've ever laughed
I know
together.
there were visible wires in multiple shots, perhaps a visible boom in some shots. Like
There was a part where like the sheriff was at home at night with his wife,
Yep.
and then the deputy sheriff like walked into their kitchen to give him news.
Yes.
There was so much funny, dumb stuff. And that main guy, and it's funny because it's a couple years now, I remember thinking that main guy was like one of the funniest bad actors of all time.
Yeah.
It was so much fun. But yeah, you're right. It's like if we were watching that separately, we would just be like, this is nuts.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Why am I spending my time doing
Exactly.
this? Yeah.
After you watch it for 10 minutes, you're like, okay, it's really bad. I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then somebody said, I love Troma stuff. It's fantastic to have a production company dedicated to subversive, nasty, hilarious trash. Some Troma alums have also gone on to bigger things as well. James Gunn, Trey Parker, Matt Stone, Vincent D'Onofrio, Eli Roth, Samuel Jackson, Kevin Costner, and quite a few more. Studio co-founder Lloyd Kaufman has been a huge inspiration to many micro-budget filmmakers and helped set the template for that type of film production along with Canon Films and others. He's also quite a fucking character, as many of these low micro-budget guys seem to be. And then somebody replied to the comment, also, they've kept it up. No huge change in direction, no going legit, no big budget, just kind of an alternate film school, distributor, and studio.
That's great. That's
And
very
then all
cool.
this was going on in r/horror. Then Lloyd Kaufman chimed in, I suggest my newest film, Shakespeare Shitstorm. It's my most personal film yet, and perhaps my last. I'm touring it right now. Toxie loves r/horror. And so the idea of like the head of this studio, like actively participating in the discussion, even if it is just to promote his current thing, is great. Like, I like that level of accessibility for somebody who could very easily
not offer that.
not offer that.
I think that that's kind of the new world of entertainment anyway.
Yeah.
You know, we talk a lot. I talk a lot with Quinn from Practical
Yep.
Jokers, Brian Nichelle, who directed he directed Comic Book Men as well as a million other things. And a lot of people, it seems like their opinion is independent is kind of the way to go of the future, and people creating their own audiences and creating their own things. And some people get ahead of the curve, sometimes on purpose, sometimes by accident. And Troma seems like that type of thing where it's like, well, we're going to develop all these films that have a really particular style. They appeal to a specific type of person. We're going to do it so much, and we're going to care about the community. We're going to try to give people voices and give them places to go with this, that it makes a gigantic community around this, like a passionate fan base, which is how we are allowed to keep going without saying, well, now we got to sell this to Disney.
Yep.
Now we got to sell this to this. We're just doing everything ourselves. And yes, it won't be as profitable and big, but hopefully we can make a more core fan base that supports it so we can keep going, which is really cool. And I think it is kind of the way that things have gone in the media landscape, and probably where they're going to go even further. It's going to be less and less network and studio production. That's going to be a smaller part of the media landscape as these kind of independent, here's what our voice is, create a passionate fan base, keep doing it type of groups go.
Yeah.
And that's going to be a bigger part even going forward. There was a smaller part of it then, but now I think it's going to be the way of the future as well. And that's always appealed to me.
Yeah.
Which is one of the reasons that like I love doing the podcast. I love having our own stuff. Like we have the history of the videos we've done, and being linked to like Tell 'em Steve Dave and all this stuff. It feels like you're in that world where we are kind of being like, let's create people who let's create a community of people who really care about this stuff. We care about them. We want to interact. We want to have fun. And that's really, really cool.
I mean, that's how I feel about Dropout, the comedy like subscription streaming service, and Defector.com, which used to be Deadspin. They all resigned en masse. I don't know how to pronounce that. And they started their own website, and it's a subscription-based thing, and they're doing really well.
Yeah.
And staying true to their values of like, hey, we're paying our interns. We pay our freelance people more than a lot of other places. We don't use AI, and we have these podcasts, and just it's great to see it represented in different ways. And Troma has been doing it for a long time.
Yeah.
Just in a genre that hasn't appealed to me.
Yeah, for sure. And I bet it's weird too, because let's say, I mean, this is just guessing, but let's say you were writing stuff like let's say 20 years ago, and they started liking your writing style and they started bringing you in to help out with these productions, you probably would open up to it and just enjoy this kind of stuff or enjoy that in the way that you contribute to it.
Right.
Yeah, it's a really cool thing. I love this kind of stuff. That's really fun. Man, that's cool. And so just a question.
Yep.
So Lloyd Kaufman said that Shakespeare Shitstorm might be his last movie.
They have not put one out since.
When was that?
2020.
Oh, wow.
Yep. Now, we have one more opinion about Troma. We asked our friend, former podcast guest, Jimmy the Hair Guy.
Yeah, Jimmy the Hair Guy.
Huge Troma fan.
Yes.
We basically, why do you like Troma films? Now, I forwarded you the email yesterday. And so if you'd like to read that email, you can do it in Jimmy's voice or you can do it in your own voice, whatever you like.
Come on.
Yep. And let us know what Jimmy the Hair Guy, like super, as seen on the Howard Stern show, Tell Him Steve Dave, and Funbearable.
As heard on the Howard Stern show,
yes.
I think. Let's see. All right, let's find it. Okay, Troma. All right, here's what Jimmy says.
Jimmy the Hair Guy, celebrity endorsement.
He said this. He said, Troma and me. I love Troma. I've always loved Troma. It's funny because it's hard to get into his voice sometimes without, let me say stuff that is affected by the Boston/Worcester accent.
Okay.
What the fuck you talking about? Get the car. I don't know. I've always loved Troma. I'm kind of a sick fucking Troma appeals to those sensibilities. I'm not going to read the whole thing in his voice. A lot of Troma films are loaded with naked girls, hard violence, and toilet humor. Not all, but a lot of them, ! This comes from the fact that Lloyd Kaufman, founder of Troma and director of such films as The Toxic Avenger and Poultrygeist Night of the Chicken Dead, is a bit of a sick bastard himself. But he's also an innovator and an original. He makes ridiculous, disgusting movies, but he does it with care and effort. He's like the Howard Stern of filmmaking with far less money, but just as many out-of-the-box ideas. Troma also goes above and beyond to buy the rights and release older, more obscure films and make them available to a wider audience. The Criterion collection for filth, if you will.
I won't.
Troma has also been at the forefront of pushing wannabe filmmakers to become actual filmmakers. They have released movies and books detailing how to go about it, and the results speak for themselves. Trey Parker and Matt Stone, creators of South Park, as well as James Gunn, director of fucking Superman and now running the DC Cinematic Universe, all began their careers at Troma. I'm a huge fan of those guys. Of course, I love Troma where it all began. It may not be for everyone. God knows it's not. I would argue it's not for 90% of the population, but for us 10% who get it and love it, Troma is a godsend. One final note. The Toxic Avenger remake hits theaters in August, unrated, and starring Peter Dinklage, Elijah Wood, and Kevin Bacon. It's not an official Troma release, but it's the property that put Troma on the map. Go fucking see it. Signed, Jimothy T. Hair Guy. T.
Yep.
That's funny.
Yeah.
No, that's great. I'm glad to learn about that. It's funny because I think I did watch a few at 17 or 18.
I think about like USA Up All Night.
Yes.
And if it's Friday or Saturday, I turn it on. Is it a boob movie? Is it a horror movie?
Yeah.
Is it Rhonda Shear hosting or is it someone else? Like that kind of depends how long I'm tuned to USA Up All Night. But
right.
that to me is like the landing spot for these types of movies.
No, for sure. Yeah, I was doing something for a Tell 'em Steve Dave Halloween special, and we used, what is it called? It's like something monster. What was it called? Monster. Yeah, it was basically that. Like they have a late night monster movie, and we were using that. No, that's cool, man. I like that kind of stuff. I think it's fun. I believe in the independent spirit.
I love the independent spirit.
Yeah.
I'll say that. It's just, I'm part of the population that I don't think it's for, but I don't know that I've given a lot of it a chance.
Yeah.
So I will likely at some point see the reboot, and perhaps that's the gateway drug to get me to the rest of Tromaville or Amortville.
I got to be honest. If Peter Dinklage took it on to do, there probably is some legitimacy there for this one, but... Well, good job, man. Professor Rohr, bringing it in.
Feeling all right about it.
Yeah.
Folks out there, if you have thoughts or feelings about Troma films or schlock or B movies or C movies, send us an email, funbearablepod@gmail.com, or find us on socials @funbearablepod. Please also subscribe on wherever you're getting this podcast, whether it's YouTube or Spotify or what have you. Give us a nice positive rating. Buy our merch. Please support the podcast in whatever way you can. We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
For Chuck Staten, I'm Brad Rohrer saying thank you so much, and we're sorry for being Funbearable.
I feel like we could make a fucking awesome type of movie like this.
It's just like there's no limits, and I work better with limits. You know how I feel about the laws of physics?
I need guardrails. Well, it's strap me in.
Like, oh, then all right, then he's gonna throw the severed head. I'm like, well, where's it gonna end up? And you're like, Tokyo. And I'm like, so he's throwing the head from New Jersey to Tokyo. You know how fast that head would have to be going to overcome wind resistance?
I think that we're gonna come up with some stories. We'll do an episode in a couple weeks, and we'll come out with something fucking really cool. Okay. Chuck and Brad go Troma.
Okay. Brad gets traumatized.
Yeah! Now you're getting it.